Hey everybody, I am so late with my video today, but I definitely wanted to put this out. It's dark, this is so not like me, my kids are home, but I was out with my husband all day. We got our taxes done, we went to the mall, it was a good day, and get a load of this. Last night, I don't know if you can see, he highlighted my hair. We have crossed a new threshold as a couple. Anyway, alright, so this is part 2 of why narcissists have children. This is for you, my fabulous subscriber, watching YouTube videos, I think is the name. But it's such an infuriating topic. Hopefully you caught part 1 of this, the first 5 reasons why narcs have children. So here's 5 more, because as we know, everything is about them. It's never about anyone but them and forwarding their agendas, and their self-interests are always at heart. Okay, so here's 5 more reasons why narcs have kids. All self-interest motivated, rest assured. So, number 1, to gain the false identity of being a mom or a dad. I know this sounds so silly to kind, decent human beings, but I'll tell you what, my toxic duo love referring to themselves as mommy and daddy. And it's such a laugh and a half to me, because I don't ever remember referring to them as mommy or daddy. Like maybe when I was tiny, I don't know. But they love having an identity to attach themselves to. You know, narcs are devoid of self-confidence, self-esteem, being self-assured, all of that stuff. So if they're able to identify as a parent, they can attribute the typical characteristics of a mother or a father to themselves, even though they're entirely inapplicable, as we know, because narcissistic mothers and narcissistic fathers are everything the antithesis of what a parent should be. They're not nurturing, they're not loving, they're not caring, they're not comforting, they're very negligent, all that stuff. So number 1 is to gain the false identity of being a parent, being a mother or a father. That's number 1. Number 2 is to bolster their appearance and their outward perception. Pretty obvious. Narcissists are entirely motivated by their external reputation, by this facade they are constantly constructing ad nauseum. Everything they do is to elicit a certain perception from other people. That's all they care about, is what people think of them. So they want other people to see them as a mother or a father. They, because typically mothers and fathers are good, decent human beings. People don't attribute these narcissistic characteristics to parents. So if other people see them as a mother or a father, it's a great cover. So that's number 2. Number 3, disgusting, to elicit forced respect and a status. You hear this ad nauseum when you're a child of a narcissist. Respect your father and your mother, one of the 10 commandments. What I have to say to that is it's entirely inapplicable when you have a narcissistic parent. God also says, somebody said this in one of my Instagram posts, I think, or maybe one of my YouTube videos. God also says, do not drive your children to anger. So it's two-sided there. There's certain obligations, whatever, that parents are supposed to fulfill, as well as the child. So it's a mutual relationship, it's a mutual respect, consideration, and love that generally family members have towards one another. typical parents, you would think, actually love and care for their children, not narcissistic parents. So number 3 is to elicit forced respect and status. They view their children as subservient to them. I'm almost 40 years old, and no doubt, like up until recently that I initiated no contact, my wicked narcissistic mother and enabling father view me as subservient to them. Everything I do is always wrong because I'm also the black sheep, but you know, they just expect you to bow down to them, to kiss their butts, to always assume responsibility for every wrongdoing that happens in the family, all of their wrongdoings and their faults. It's never them, it's always you, because you're the child. By default, you assume all of their garbage. So, as the black sheep, you're essentially the dumping ground for the family dysfunction. Number 3, to elicit forced respect and status. Number 4, it's very superficial, but we're dealing with narcissists here. The child is an accessory. The child makes them look good. Another example I have of this is when I was growing up, my narc mother loved to dress me up as if I was some type of status symbol, I want to say. Like, she would dress me up to look bougie or something, to, you know, associate herself with that type of lifestyle. She would, this is so crazy. She boxed up all of my outfits from when I was a baby and kept them. Like, she hung on to them all these years, and she like presented them to me like, here, look, this is how I dressed you. You were so fancy, and so was I, you know? Like, what are you doing? Like, these clothes are like, first of all, if you're a parent, you know that you dress your children for utility 90% of the time. Yes, certain occasions, whatever, we try to make them look especially nice or presentable. But generally, you dress your children for comfort and function. Not when you have a narcissistic parent, or in my case, with my narcissistic mother, she dressed me to parade around like we were bougie or something. I always remember going to church on Sunday, Easter Sunday, because church is where these creeps try to camouflage themselves or like disguise themselves as decent human beings again. I remember freezing my ass off every Easter Sunday. Like a short sleeve little dress with a bonnet and everything. Like, stop. Anyway, 4, superficial. The child is an accessory. Number 5 is that they're acclimating to social standards. You can wrap your head around this because that's all narcs do. They just want to run with the crowd, essentially. They want to blend in, but at the same time, they want to be special, but they do want to blend in terms of being seen as a functioning member of society, as an upstanding person. So, by societal standards, the norm is to have children. Not everyone does, which is totally fine, but generally, that's the expectation of, you get married, you have kids. So that's what they're doing. They are just fulfilling that, in their mind, what they're supposed to do. I'm sorry. Having a narcissistic parent is, incomprehensible. Especially if you're a parent now and you're just you look at your own children and you love them so much and you have such affinity towards them and just an inherent love, and you think back to your narc parent and you're like, what the fuck? What happened? Why did they do this? There was 5 reasons in my previous video. These are 5 more reasons. Rest assured, everything is self-motivated. They have children because it inflates their outward appearance, essentially. That's the motivation behind all of it. So, alright, here's my 5 additional reasons. 1, to gain the false identity of mommy and daddy so they can attach themselves to that. Because they're so empty inside and they have nothing. Like, they feel so empty and devoid, and they're so insecure, and they just want that title of mommy and daddy. 2, to bolster their outward perception, their appearance to other people. As a parent, they can't possibly be as evil as they really are because they have a child. So that's number 2. They hide behind that. Number 3 is to elicit forced respect and status from their child. The child suffers tremendously because they become the subservient members in the household, the child, like, just by default. Number 4, very superficial. The child is an accessory. Number 5, they're acclimating to social standards. They're trying to blend into society, all the while at the same time they are trying to elevate themselves somehow, make themselves appear special, but they're trying to blend in and acclimate to societal standards of success and, you know, whatever their perception is. My previous video, the 5 reasons were, it was a primary source of supply. You know, just by being pregnant or having a child, it's an exciting event, milestone in someone's life. So they immediately harness attention from that. Number 2, it's a secondary source of supply by hijacking all of the child's achievements or misfortunes. It's a secondary source of supply that they just steal from their child. Number 3, to fulfill their sadistic needs of bossing someone around, being a bully. Number 4, they have a fear of being alone, which is a laugh and a half, because we wise up to their garbage and we head for the hills. Number 5, they have this inherent need to be competitive, and they are always jealous and envious of everyone around them. So no doubt that their peers were having children and they felt the need to rise to the occasion. They wanted to get in on the action. They wanted to steal some of that spotlight. They couldn't let other people around them be having children, becoming parents, and them not do it. So, alright, you guys, that's 10 reasons total why narcs become parents. It's all self-serving purposes. They're some of the worst people walking the earth, if you ask me. So, please like, please subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you like this video. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for going on this journey with me. We're bumped and we're bruised, but more than anything, we're blessed because we have an insight and an appreciation that some people will never know because they haven't gone through this garbage like we have. Alright, God bless you guys. I'll see you next time.